You're welcome. My name is Dr. Chris Williams, and I'm your host on Well Again. Well Again is your health magazine program in which we employ fail-proof protocol for regaining health and retaining health. You're welcome. Each time we have the opportunity of coming your way like this, we are so glad, and I think we really need to be grateful to God. We've been doing this for quite a number of years now, and God has been faithful. We thank Him for His goodness. We thank Him for His mercy. And we thank Him that you and I are still around and going on very strong. You're welcome. All right. I want us to discuss dealing with peptic ulcer today. Many people have asked me. They have said, why do you never talk about ulcer? Okay. And so the day has come now in which we'll talk about ulcer. Okay, so we are discussing peptic ulcer disease today. What is ulcer? Ulcer is a spot where the lining of the stomach or the lining of the intestines have been eaten up. Okay, the lining of the stomach or the lining of the or the intestines or any part of the gastrointestinal system have been eroded. Sometimes it's not only the lining that is eroded, sometimes it affects even underlying tissues. The muscles of the gastrointestinal system may also be eroded. Okay, so it leaves an internal wound. So an ulcer simply is a wound that has been created there when we're talking about peptic ulcer, that has been created there because the lining of the gastrointestinal system has been eroded. Okay, it can occur in any part of the gastrointestinal system, but it's most common in the stomach and also in the duodenum. Okay, if it is present only in the stomach, we say it is it's gastric ulcer. If it is present only in the duodenum, we say it's duodenal ulcer. But if it is present both in the stomach and in the duodenum, we say it's peptic ulcer. So peptic ulcer is ulcer occurring both in the duodenum and in the stomach. What are the signs and the symptoms? Okay, the person will be having burning and gnawing pain. There's a pain, particularly here, somewhere in the middle of where the rib cage comes together like this. Somewhere there's a pain there. It is usually burning. And it's a gnawing pain. It looks as if something is sitting away there. And this pain most times can be relieved either by taking antacids, that's to take either Mismag or Gestid or Gelusil, or by taking or by vomiting, or by taking large volumes of water. So if somebody has pain here, somewhere here, sometimes the pain is up here, but if somebody has pain here, in the beginning of the stomach there, and it is relievable or it is relieved by either drinking milk or drinking large volumes of water, or by vomiting, or by taking an antacid. By antacid we mean either Gelusil or Gestid or Mismag. Then it's most likely an ulcer pain. Okay, ulcer. Sometimes also when it is severe, the pain can reach to your back. So some people come having pain not only here, but they say there's also a pain at the back. Pain at the back, that's just directly opposite the epigastrum. We call this place the epigastric region. So directly opposite the epigastric region at the back, the person may be having pain. Okay, this pain may be mild, it may be very severe. Some people, it will not allow them to sleep. It will cause them sleepless nights. This pain will awaken them in the middle of the night, around about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. This pain will awaken the person. Okay, and then the pain can also radiate to the lower back of the lower back. So there may be a lower back pain. Now, this pain may be accompanied with nausea. It may be accompanied with vomiting. It may be accompanied with nausea. It may be accompanied with vomiting. We said earlier, in some people, if they vomit, they feel better. Or some people, they will not vomit essentially, but they will be having feelings of vomiting. So whichever way it goes, of all this that we have described, you may be dealing with ulcer. What is the pathology of ulcer, of peptic ulcer? Like we said, the lining of the GI has been eroded away, and it gets eroded away when there is inadequate protection of the lining. Okay, so there's the lining of the protection of the lining fails. Okay, it fails. I said here, the lining of the GIT fails to provide adequate protection against the effect of digestive acids or digestive enzymes. So the lining of the intestine usually have some kind of protective mechanism against the effect of the digestive enzymes or the digestive acids. When that protective mechanism is lost, then the acids or the enzymes begin to digest the lining of the gastrointestinal system, and it can cause ulcer. What are the causes of ulcer? Several. Number one, stress. If somebody is under stress for a very long time, it can cause increased production of acid, and these acids can overwhelm the protection of the intestinal lining, and it can begin to digest the intestinal lining itself. Also, anxiety can cause it. If somebody is having anxiety, usually will have ulcer occur in people who are having anxiety diseases, anxiety, neurosis, and all kinds of things. Also, infection with Helicobacter pylori, H. pylori, commonly called, can also cause infection. H. pylori, in fact, in many people who have ulcer, especially ulcer that is not healing, they can isolate H. pylori bacteria from the ulcer wound. Okay, they can isolate it from the ulcer wound. All right, so H. pylori it's positive in ulcer. Also, taking of certain drugs like aspirin, or drugs that fall in the category of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. We call them NSAIDs. NSAIDs drugs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Which are these drugs? Drugs like ibuprofen, cataflam, diclofenac, all these drugs that we use to treat pain, many of them, apart from things like paracetamol, many of them usually will erode the lining of the GIT, and it can lead to ulcer. All right, especially when such drugs have been taken for over a very long time. Also, taking of drugs like steroids can also lead to ulcer. So if somebody is taking prednisolone or somebody is taking dexamethasone, okay, it can lead to ulcer. We also have ulcer commonly occurring in people who are heavy smokers and people who abuse alcohol. Heavy smoking and abuse of alcohol makes somebody to be prone to developing ulcer. It's also noted that ulcer occurs more commonly amongst black people, African Americans, and also Hispanics, Latinos, people who are from Mexico and from all those other places. Ulcer occurs more in them. Each time I read that in the books, I wonder, why are these things more common amongst us? Sickle cell disease is more common amongst black people also. Okay, and then stroke also is more common amongst black people. I'm wondering what is happening, but that's how it is. Now, so that's ulcer. Simple. It's very easily diagnosable, and the signs and symptoms are not many. All right. Some people have battled ulcer for many years. A woman came to me and she had battled ulcer for over 25 years. And she was in terrible pain when she came. And in 2-3 days, that ulcer was gone. It's important I say that if you know the right things to do and you are doing it, the ulcer that you have dealt with for decades can be gone in less than a week. because intestinal linings are being replaced. They are being replaced about every other week. They are being replaced. In fact, in 7 days, some parts of the intestine would have been replaced. That's the lining would have been replaced. So as you stop the things that cause the ulcer to be, and then you begin to develop new habits, you see that ulcer can heal very fast. Okay, we'll talk about the things to do in order to deal with ulcer. Number one, you need to work on your diet. What are the diets that predispose to ulcer? Number one, abuse of animal proteins. Abuse of animal proteins, very important. Abuse of animal proteins can aggravate ulcer. It can also lead to ulcer. When we come back, we'll continue to talk on the things you need to do in order to handle ulcer. Please do not go away. I'll be right back. Okay, you're welcome back. We are discussing how to deal with peptic ulcer. We have looked at the meaning of peptic ulcer. Peptic ulcer is when ulcer happens both in the stomach and in the duodenum. Duodenum is the first part of the gastrointestinal system. All right. We also looked at the signs and the symptoms. And we said pain in the epigastrum. Sometimes it can be radiated to the back. This pain most times will be relieved by taking milk or by taking antacids like Mace Mag and Gestid, or by vomiting. Okay, so if you have that kind of pain, most likely you are dealing with ulcer. All right, and other signs and symptoms are lower back ache. Okay, it can also be a sign of ulcer. Okay, ulcer can also wake people in the middle of the night. Pain that wakes you up in the middle of the night around about 1 a.m., 2 a.m., that may be ulcer. We looked at the things that bring about ulcer. Those are the causes. We said abuse of animal, stress and anxiety, infection with Helicobacter pylori, H. pylori infection, and then also somebody who smokes and drinks. It can also cause the person to quickly have ulcer. There are other things that can predispose to ulcer. Abuse of animal proteins, eating a lot of proteins, especially animal proteins. This is what happens. When you eat animal protein, acid is needed. Let me put it this way. Acid is needed to digest protein. Acid is needed. Much more acid is needed to digest protein. So when you eat lorry loads or large volumes of proteins, especially animal proteins, your body will need to secrete much more acid. And when there's excessive acid in your stomach, it will begin to, after doing what it should do, it will begin to digest the lining of the intestine. Okay, so also abuse of sugary things, taking of sweet things. There is no getting away from it. We cannot avoid it. If you must be in health, you must reduce your intake of animal proteins. And I usually would suggest just stick with fish and don't do it too much. It's so very important. The eggs of this world, cow milk, beef, chicken, and all that, just cut them out if you can. All right, or you just become a social eater of these things. By a social eater, I mean somebody who just eats it once in a long while. All right, so abuse of sugary things, even sweet fruits. You know, some people, I see them, they think they are practicing health. They are blending pineapple, they are drinking. They are blending watermelon, they are drinking. They are all manners of things. Sweet fruits, generally, you have to eliminate them, especially those three: watermelon, pineapple, mango. Eliminate them. If you want to cheat, you can cheat with apples, and or mango and all that. Not even apple, mango. It's not mango, sorry, banana. You can cheat with that. Okay, so pineapple, watermelon, apple, orange, you need to remove them because orange is also citric acid and it adds to the acid inside there. Okay, so what other things should you avoid? Reduce your intake of refined carbohydrates, pastas, pastries, spaghetti, macaroni, noodles, semovita and all that. Reduce them. Reduce your intake of bread. Bread is not good food. I have to look down. I'm afraid to look at your face because somebody may want to punch me in the nose. Okay? Bread is not good food. Though it's one of the greatest, me personally, it's one of my greatest temptations, that I fall to. When I see bread, I can't stand. So what we do is we don't buy bread in our house. We buy it only when the children want to eat it. And when that time, I will be struggling with them as if to say, and all that. So, because, and I know many people are in that category. Bread is not good food. It does so many things to your body. All right. It blocks your colon, does so many things. I mean, look at how hard it can be. And then, some people, after they have eaten bread, by the time they want to go to toilet, they have to grab the walls, and then they are praying in tongues, and all that. Okay, so things like that are not good for us. So, what other things you do? Coffee, you need to remove them from your food. Don't abuse stimulants. So these are the things you need to remove from your food. And then also anything that is an additive to food, like preservatives or flavorings or colorings, and this affects use of chemical spices. I would not like to call their names. I usually will call their names when I counsel people, but not over TV. The chemical spices. Go for native or natural spices. Okay, spices made from low-cost, from low-cost bean, garlic. Ginger may be a bit too spicy for somebody who is dealing with ulcer. Okay, but if you want to, cinnamon, cardamom, oregano, natural spices. And I agree that these things don't really have taste. Some of them are bland, but if you want to really be healthy, you need to stay away from them. Okay, so what are the things you should eat? Eat plenty of dark leafy vegetables, and then from time to time blend them and drink them. If you are having a crisis with ulcer pain, blend cabbage and drink it. Blend cabbage and drink it. You can also blend vegetables and drink them. Cucumber, cabbage, lettuce, blending them regularly, drinking them, drink up to a liter in a day. These things cleanse your intestine and keep it clean. Okay, drinking of plenty, okay, I've said it, drink plenty of freshly juiced cabbage daily. It helps, even if you are wanting to deal with it. Okay, and then eat soft food. I'm just talking about some food dieting recommendations. Eat soft food if you are having an ulcer pain crisis. Foods like potato, like banana, like avocado. I know a banana is sweet. Don't eat it too much. Foods that are sweet. Don't eat foods like yam. Because when you eat some foods that are too hard, how does the stomach digest? By grinding. It will be grinding it, just much like the washing machine washes clothes. It will be grinding. So in the process of all that grinding, the ulcer and the pain will be increasing. Okay, so eat frequent small meals rather than sit down and eat a big load, and then you are struggling to breathe. Rather, eat frequent small meals. Okay, and then if you are having plenty of pain, you can drink a large glass of water. It gives you quick relief. Avoid, I forgot to mention this, fried foods. Avoid it. Avoid fried foods. Avoid caffeines. I said that one. Avoid chocolates, animal proteins, and carbonated drinks. I think we have said all this. Avoid them. Avoid sugary things. We have said them. Don't use too much salt when you eat in your foods, and then if you must do salt, try and go for either Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt. Okay, we have talked about reducing intake of refined carbohydrates, so very important. Go to the market and get foods like millet and then blend it by yourself. Oats. I was pleasantly surprised recently when my wife told me that she discovered a place where we could buy oats. You know, I mean, some people are thinking literally the way you go to the market to measure millet or measure guinea corn. There are places now you can go to and they will measure oats for you, and then you take it to the mill and grind it. If buying the sachet types will be too expensive. For me, if I like swallow, and I think the best swallow so far that I will recommend to anybody is swallows made from oats. Very important. I've talked about stopping cow milk. It's so very important. You need to stop it. You remember I said if you drink it, it will give you temporary relief, but then it is worsening the protein. It's worsening the protein. It's worsening the ulcer, sorry. Cow milk contains calcium, it contains protein, and this stimulates production of more acids with time. All right? Still some other things to do. Clean your colon regularly. Okay? And for this, you need the detox tea, and you also need LD pap. LD pap contains plantago vata. Plantago vata is a very high fiber food, and it helps you to move your bowel. You should move bowel like 2 or 3 times daily. Even 4 times is not too much. Moving bowels, going to toilet to do the major job once in 3 days is not good at all. It's not good at all, okay? And then avoid things that trigger it, like use of aspirin and NSAIDs and all that. Okay, so those are the things you will need to do by way of what you put in your mouth and dieting. When we come back, we'll continue on dealing with peptic ulcer disease. I'll be right back. Please do not go away. Okay, you're welcome back. We are discussing how to deal with peptic ulcer disease, and we have said a whole lot. We have described what peptic ulcer disease is. We said it is when there's somebody has a gastrointestinal ulcer that is affecting both the stomach and the duodenum. Okay, we have looked at the signs and symptoms like epigastric pain that is relieved by either drinking milk or drinking an antacid, or by vomiting, or by drinking large volumes of water. Okay, this pain also will radiate to the back many times, and then it can also radiate to the lower back, causing lower back ache. Okay, this pain will wake somebody up in the middle of the night. Okay, and then sometimes it will lead to nausea and to vomiting. And then when it's really very severe, some people it can become a bleeding ulcer. The person will now start bleeding. So the person goes to the toilet and you pass black stools. Black, in medicine we call it black tarry stools. Stool, you know tar, the TAR, what they used to make the road. So somebody will pass stool, and the stool will be black like that. Okay, so it may be an indication of ulcer. Okay, very important. When you see fresh blood inside your stool, it's not likely to be ulcer. That one is pile. Okay, but if the blood that you see inside stool is blackish, that means it was the bleeding happened very early in the gastrointestinal system. All right, so we saw all that. We saw the things to avoid, many things that one should avoid if you are dealing with ulcer or you don't want to develop ulcer. Sweet things, removing them from your food. Animal proteins, cow milk, beef, chicken, turkey, all that. Eggs, removing them from your food. Stick with fish, and even that, do it minimally. It's so important. Remove sweet things, soft drinks, carbonated drinks, even sweet fruits. Remove them from your food. there's another cause of ulcer that we had talked about, which is infection, being infected with Helicobacter pylori, H. pylori. Now, H. pylori is a bacteria, and bacteria usually, all bacteria grow well in the presence of sugar. Just like if there's ant anywhere, before long you will see, if there's sugar anywhere, before long you will see ants gather. The same way, anywhere there's sugar, bacteria grows very well in it. And H. pylori is a bacteria, so abusing sugary things or sweet food aggravates ulcer. Okay. Also, abusing foods like refined carbohydrates, pastas, pastries, donuts, anything made from flour, pizza. Okay, I know I'm getting into trouble now. Donuts, pizzas, and all these kinds of food, they are not good for our body. All right. When I talked about bread before, we went on break, and somebody was very angry, and all that bread. Even if you do bread, you have to reduce it very drastically. It ain't no good food for you at all. Okay, so refined carbohydrates, spaghetti, macaroni, noodles. Remove them from your food. All right, caffeines, generally remove them from your food. And preservatives, additives to food, flavorings, colorings, chemical spices, remove them from your food. Somebody said, anything that your great-grandmother will not recognize as food, stop eating it. That statement looks simple, but it is loaded. That's I'm talking about people my age now. Maybe not people who are under 20s. People my age. Anything that my great-grandmother will not recognize as food, I should not eat it. Then he removes a whole lot of things from food, from the foods that I eat. All this package, this one, package that one, package that one, package this one, they were never there when the woman was growing up. All right, so in other words, anything that has been interfered with between the farm and your table, be careful in eating it. Anything that has been interfered with between the farm and your table, be careful in eating it. Try and go for farm food straight from farm. Now let's talk about the herbs and supplements that you can use to treat ulcer. Many of them. There's one called L-glutamine. L-glutamine, it's very good. L-glutamine is it's an amino acid, and it's very good in treating, replacing the lining of the intestinal mucosa. That's the lining of the intestine. Also, especially if you combine it with vitamin B6 and maybe about 100 milligrams of vitamin C. It helps to heal the intestinal mucosa. L-glutamine combined with B6 and vitamin C. Vitamin C is very powerful in healing. Okay, even though by itself also it can cause ulcer, but when you combine it with all this, also pectin. There's something called pectin. Pectin can also help. Okay, also vitamin E. Taking like 200 IU or to 400 IU of vitamin E on a daily basis can help to heal your ulcer. In dealing with ulcer, these are supplements, and supplements first. You will need to be on acidophilus. Acidophilus, it can help you. Acidophilus, or it's either called acidophilus or probiotics, like taking 2 to 3 capsules daily. It can help to heal the ulcer. These are good bacteria. You take good bacteria into your system, and there are good bacteria and there are bad bacteria. The good bacteria cause trouble. The bad bacteria cause trouble, and the good bacteria fight the bad bacteria. Okay. So acidophilus is one of the good bacteria. They stop the spread and the activity of the bad bacteria. Okay, and they also help your body to digest food better. Acidophilus, 2 to 3 capsules of it daily. There's something called bromelain. Bromelain is very good. It's a good anti-inflammatory. It helps to reduce inflammation of the intestinal mucosa. The person that's treating ulcer also needs to be on some essential fatty acids. Omega-3 is very important. Omega-3 is very important in treatment of ulcer. Okay, you also need to be on proteolytic enzymes. Okay, pancreatic enzymes, they help in treating ulcer. Okay, some other supplements to be on are things like vitamin A. I've talked about pyridoxine, which is vitamin B6. I've talked about vitamin C, just taking low doses this time around. Low doses, like 300 milligrams on a daily basis. Vitamin K, 100 micrograms daily can help. And then taking zinc also can help. And then also, okay, I talked about vitamin A. And then also taking something called S-adenosyl methanoin. It's called SAMe for short, SAMe. It helps to aid the healing of the intestinal mucosa. So those are the supplements. What are the things that can help? The herbs that can help. Herbs like alfalfa, aloe vera. Aloe vera gel is very good. Many people know this. Aloe vera gel is very good in treating ulcer. If you are having ulcer crisis, you're having pain crisis, if you just take in some aloe vera gel, you see it can help you. Aloe vera gel helps, alfalfa helps. There's a herb called licorice plus cat's claw. You may need to write it down. Licorice plus cat's claw. Cat's claw. The herb is called cat's claw because of the way it appears. Okay, it helps to heal ulcer. It heals it very, very fast. Okay, there's another herb called comfrey. It also helps. Now, so those are the things that will help to heal the intestinal mucosa. Now, there are some other things that will help to calm the person down. Don't forget, we said stress, anxiety are on the forefront of causing ulcer. So that means the person will need things like valerian root. Valerian root is a herb. Chamomile. Of all of them, I love chamomile the most. Chamomile. It's a very, very good herb. It calms you down. Okay, it calms you down. Being on regular capsules of chamomile always keeps the person calmed down. If you combine chamomile with valerian root, it usually helps to calm the person down. All right. Okay. There's another herb called marshmallow root. And then you are making juice from rhubarb. All these help. I know these names may sound very strange to many people, but there are things that are available. If you get across to us, we'll tell you how to get them. All right. You can deal with ulcer. I come across so many people every time. They've been battling ulcer. Somebody has been on some drugs, giving them to them from the hospital for 6 weeks. The ulcer is not going. And you know, the reason is not far-fetched. In treating anything, that's what we in the line of natural health have come to learn. You check out what is causing it first, and then you remove it. In fact, by the time you stop or remove those things, with time, the body will begin to heal itself if it is not gone too far. By the time you now supply supplements like we have mentioned, you supply some herbs that we have mentioned, you see that your healing will be fast. It will be faster, and it will be more permanent. It's so very important. When I come back, we'll talk more on dealing with peptic ulcer. Please do not go away. I'll be right back. Okay, you're welcome back. We are discussing dealing with peptic ulcer disease, and it's been an interesting discussion. Ulcer is a disease that is very prevalent in the society, especially as the stress and the troubles of the world. You know, Bible says that the heart of the people will be failing for fear of the things coming upon the world. Okay, so the troubles, trouble, anxiety, cause for anxiety everywhere. So ulcer is just on the increase. In the next few minutes, I'll just summarize before we conclude. What is ulcer? We said it's a breach in the intestinal lining that happens because there is excessive acidic activity in the intestine. We said ulcer can happen anywhere along the whole of the intestinal tract. However, it is more common in the stomach and in the duodenum. It's more common in the stomach and in the duodenum. And if it is in the stomach, we say it is gastric ulcer. If it is in the duodenum, we say it's duodenal ulcer. If it is in the stomach and in the duodenum at the same time, we say it is peptic ulcer. All right. We said some of the symptoms and signs are burning or gnawing stomach pain. Okay, relieved by taking of antacids or drinking of large volumes of water or vomiting. We said it can be mild and it can be severe, and it awakens people in the middle of the night. It causes lower back pain sometimes, and then we talked about the pathology. What happens is that when in the presence of excessive acid in the stomach, excessive secretion of acid in the stomach, the lining of the intestines fail the protective, because without the protective mechanism that the lining of intestines have, the acid in the stomach and the digestive juices will be digesting the intestinal lining. However, when there is excessive secretion of digestive juices and also excessive secretion of acid in the stomach, it causes digestion of the intestinal lining, and this can lead to ulcer. Okay, what are the things that may cause excessive secretion of digestive enzymes and digestive acids in the stomach? Stress, anxiety, infection with Helicobacter pylori. Okay, it compromises the integrity of the intestinal lining, and then abuse of certain drugs or use of certain drugs like aspirin, like NSAIDs, many NSAIDs, diclofenac, ibuprofen, cataflam, all the indomethacin, that one has been banned by now, okay, and all that. Also aspirin, and then use of steroids like prednisolone or dexamethasone can also cause an erosion of the intestinal lining. Abuse of smoking and alcohol, that's it can also compromise the integrity of the intestinal lining. We said ulcer occurs more in African Americans and in Latinos. And then we looked at the things to avoid in order to deal with ulcer. The things to avoid in order to deal with ulcer. Avoiding things like animal proteins, very important. Okay, just stick with fish, not too much. And then eggs, milk, beef, chicken, and all that, reduce them to a barest minimal, or do away with them completely. So very important. Avoiding sweet things, especially soft drinks. Soft drinks, avoid them. Even sweet fruits like pineapple, watermelon, apple, mango, orange, avoid them. Stay with soft and mildly sweet things like plum, like banana, and all that. Okay. Also, removing anything made from wheat and flour from your food, pastas and pastries, spaghetti, macaroni, noodles, removing them. Also, removing refined carbohydrates from your food. Anything that contains refined carbohydrates, remove it from your food. Chiefly, I am talking about flour, very important. Remove it from your food. Removing things like caffeine from your food, very important. And then also additives to food like chemical seasonings, like flavorings, like colorings. You know, you walk into the eatery sometimes and then you see some foods, all those diverse colors of foods and all those are the reason why there's ulcer everywhere. Okay, so what removing also or reducing, avoiding fried foods can help you manage ulcers. So very important. Avoiding fried foods, chocolates, animal proteins, carbonated foods. We have talked about that. Avoiding or reducing the use of salt. If you want to do salt, do Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, okay, and all that. It's important. Some people have discovered that when they take milk, that the pain of their ulcer pain reduces, okay, but that is not a very, very good idea. There's calcium and protein inside milk. And what this does is that it stimulates the production of more and more acids. So if you drink milk on the immediate, the ulcer pain will go down. But with time, the ulcer itself, ulcer disease, will keep getting worse. It's so important. It's important to cleanse your colon regularly. It's important, okay? And that's where the use of colon cleansers like detox tea, like healthy pap come in. Also, chamomile that we said is a very good relaxant is also very good for the health of the colon. Very good. Chamomile, very good. And then avoid NSAIDs. All these things were said. I'm just trying to recap on all of them. So what are the supplements that are useful in treatment of ulcer? L-glutamine, especially if you combine it with vitamin B6 and then very mild doses of vitamin C, like 100 milligram dose of vitamin C. Take it like 3 times a day. It can help with the healing. By now you should be used to the fact that I usually recommend vitamin C in very large doses, okay? And that is for some other things, for its antioxidant effect. But here, we are just trying to use the fact that the vitamin C is very good for wound healing. So you don't need all that large ones, okay? Pectin also can help. Vitamin E can help. The person needs to take acidophilus. Acidophilus is very important. Acidophilus is good bacteria, and it helps to fight the bad bacteria, which is Helicobacter pylori and some other ones. Okay, this person dealing with ulcer also needs bromelain. They need proteolytic acids, and then they need essential fatty acids. They need vitamin A, and then also zinc. Zinc is very important. Lately, we are discovering that zinc is very important in so many things. Very important. Some herbs that help with ulcer include alfalfa, aloe vera gel, cat's claw, and then licorice. Licorice and comfrey are also very useful. Marshmallow root is also very useful. Okay, so that's the much we'll be able to go. If you need any clarifications or you need to know where to get all these things, just contact us. We'll be able to tell you. We like hearing from you. It's so very important that we hear from you. Okay, so there are some of these books that have been helping people across the world, and I just want to introduce them to you. Sickness Free. Sickness Free, this is a wonderful book. Many people have regained their health through it. It says fail-proof protocol for regaining and retaining health. It's a very good book. It's a book you can order. It can be sent to you anywhere. Also, the audio of these things can be sent to you, and also the DVD, they can be sent to you. Now, also we have here reversing hypertension and cardiovascular diseases naturally. This is also very good. If you are dealing with any cardiovascular disease, it's important that you try and get that book. Okay, reversing diabetes naturally is very good. The things that are written here will help you to understand what's up with diabetes and how to put it in its place naturally. There's also Reversing Depression Naturally. I like this book. It has helped so many persons. Myself and my friend Daniel Ekele wrote it, and it's a very wonderful book. It can help anybody. All right, don't forget, we love to hear from you. We love to hear your testimonies. People meet me at several places and they begin to share testimony. Okay, and I tell them, don't wait till I meet you physically until you share your good reports. You can send in your good reports so that we can use them to encourage people. We have had several testimonies of several good reports about ulcer, and I believe that your own will be the next one. All right, until I come your way next time, do not forget to keep stay tuned to this channel. It will help you. You keep learning more and more things with each passing day as we release topics, more and more topics. All right, till I come your way again next time. Bye-bye. God bless you.